What's happening, everyone? My name is Max, and we're back for another communication skills analysis. If you're new to my channel, I react to all different types of people's communication skills and I give you my thoughts. Today, we're going to be checking out Josh and Ollie from the Korean Englishman channel, as well as our boys from ATEEZ. We've got San and Hungjun. I've reacted to both Josh and Ollie before, as well as the ATEEZ boys a number of times. So either way, I appreciate you being here. Let's get started with the video.
ATEEZ! Alright, and today we're here in London because we're going to be introducing you guys to some classic British fish and chips.
Fish and chips. We love it.
You know, this is our first time.
Your first time?
Yeah, British food.
So what are you guys' favorite food?
I love steak. Steak.
Steak.
He exercises really hard.
Okay, so you need your protein.
Yeah.
These guys, man, Josh and Ollie, they seem to get along with whoever their guests are so well. Whether it be footballers or K-pop stars, they're just super engaging guys, aren't they? They just seem to have this really kind of easy rapport with people, Josh and Ollie do, don't they? And I think part of it is because you can tell they're genuinely interested in their guests. I'm liking this off the bat. I can just tell that's a good energy right away. And Hungjun's so cool and at ease, isn't he? And I mentioned in my last video that he can really go back and forth between just really listening intently and sort of admiring and observing the guys, but also when he needs to take the lead. And I think he's actually really good at facilitating the conversation, knowing when it's time to sort of change the pace of the conversation, knowing when it's time to make the conversation maybe a little bit more sincere and serious, knowing when it's time to maybe lighten up the mood. I think he's just very observant, very at ease with himself. Just a cool guy all around, so.
I want to try it.
Okay.
Keep going,
So-
Josh. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. So that's the salt.
Are you sure?
Oh, yes. And then vinegar.
Oh.
I'm scared now, but I want to try this. Cheers!
Cheers.
Yes.
Welcome to England. Welcome. Keep going.
Is it usually Josh closer to the guests and Ollie's on the outside? Is that generally how it works in terms of how they position themselves to who they're speaking to? I think I might have mentioned this before, but Josh is, you might have heard this term before, like the straight character. Like the guy who's just, you know, a little bit more, you know what to expect from him. He's a little bit more sort of even-keeled. Whereas Ollie's a little bit more goofy. He's like off the wall. You don't know what to expect from him. You know, there's a consistency to Josh, I feel like, from what I've seen so far. He seems like he's got a great personality, but again, he sort of plays this more serious role in a sense.
I didn't realize you guys are such a big fan of mayonnaise, because in Halazia you say mayonnaise in my fantasy.
Manna is fantastic.
I'll play it. Mayonnaise in my fantasy.
I understand why you misunderstand.
Okay.
But that's Korean. Mayonnaise
not
like
English.
fantasy.
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
No.
No, not mayonnaise.
No mayonnaise.
Maybe there was a conscious effort on Ollie's part to bring that up, even though he knew there may have been a chance that it wasn't actually mayonnaise they were talking about, but he knew there would be a chance for some fun and lightheartedness in the conversation. And then Josh kind of playing the straight role here, being like, no, it wasn't mayonnaise, wasn't mayonnaise. Ollie allows himself to be goofy. He allows himself to be wrong. And that's why I think this dynamic works with him and Josh so well. And then on top of that, more comedy comes from Josh correcting him, right? That's like that's sort of the cherry on top. That's kind of their shtick and their dynamic is Josh kind of correcting Ollie for being a goofball, although his goofiness is obviously a big contribution to the conversation.
Are you guys ready to try the fish?
Yeah, I have
Let's try the fish. Do you want to break it up and you can just see how soft and flaky that meat is?
Oh, Sam's just gone straight in.
Wow. Feeding each other like proper brothers. I like it.
It's delicious.
It's good?
It's perfect.
Okay, wow.
It's delicious.
Wow. Okay, and then this one also, you should try with the tartar sauce.
Oh, tartar sauce.
Tartar sauce together, yeah.
This is cool that they're eating traditional British food here. San's being super polite and respectful over here, isn't he? The only words that have come out of his mouth so far is, this is really good, this is delicious. Maybe that's due to a more limited vocabulary. I'm not doubting that he thinks it's delicious, but I think he is consciously just trying to be polite and respectful. And he does strike me as someone who is a very, very respectful guy. And I know they come from a more respectful culture in a way. But Son in particular strikes me as that guy who kind of follows those rules or abides by them pretty strictly. The more I see him, the more I see sort of his like sweet, more shy, respectful side.
Don't worry when you recommend British food first time.
Right, it's good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
we've taken you to literally the best place.
Yeah, the best place that we know of.
A lot of the other places are very new experiences. Very new. Yeah. Maybe too new.
Okay.
The team between Josh and Ollie is actually fantastic because the guests get to enjoy Ollie's ridiculousness. Although he is a good guy and he's sincere and he asks really good questions, they enjoy his ridiculousness. It's good for the conversation because it kind of loosens them up and it allows them to sort of like correct him in a way. But then Josh is there to kind of like to try to like organize the conversation. You know, okay, let's get back on track here, right? So there's something refreshing about Ollie as well. Like there's an honesty in the way he communicates. Like, I'm gonna be real here. Like, we took you to the best place. Like, there's other places that, So there's an honesty to him. Like, he's willing to disclose things that other people might not disclose or share.
Touched. Yeah. You're making you emotional.
Yeah, emotional.
I love it.
Time to try the mushy peas.
Wow.
What's it?
Wow. And I never seen this color too.
It's a type of pea. Pea.
Pea.
He looks like a scared little mountain.
Yes, little mountain.
San's very genuine in his reactions here. That's funny. He was like, what the hell am I getting myself into here? That's what's endearing about San. Like, sometimes you get glimpses of these genuine reactions of him kind of like being concerned or scared. And that's part of the beauty of seeing these guys in more long-form content. We get a chance to digest their facial expressions and their reactions, and I think that all adds to the connection that we feel between a lot of these, or toward a lot of these K-pop celebrities that we watch. Hongjoong seems more willing to engage with Josh and Ollie. I think San might be a little nervous or a bit more shy in this situation. It could be an English thing, could be a language barrier, which would make sense. But I think San might actually be shy. Like, I think actually San might be on the more shy side. And I think he can be outgoing and he can be expressive. And when he's comfortable, he can kind of be the star of the show at times, it feels like. But I think naturally, maybe in general, his personality is maybe a little bit more reserved, potentially more introverted. Whereas Hongjoong has no problem socializing and kind of just being present with you, and you know, he just seems very comfortable socially.
Korea, often you go to a shop, at the counter they have plastic versions of the food, and you're like, you can buy it. It's like if you decide to eat the plastic food.
Okay, that's, yeah. It's
red.
A bit strange. Very red. It's very red.
Red is dangerous always.
Yeah, red is always dangerous.
Okay.
It's not bad.
New experience.
His taste is really...
See Hongjoong again, like just showing signs of his conversational ability. I like when people do this in a conversation, they bring a joke back into the conversation.
It was new experience. Because this is new experience. New experience.
It's almost like that's sort of one of our bonding points. It's like sort of like an inside joke that we personally have with one another. Hongjoong demonstrating that he's engaged in the conversation, he's been listening, he's involved. He's also, when he says that, he's demonstrating that he appreciated Ollie's joke before. So Hongjoong making an effort to bond and connect back, you can tell. And I think that's an example of one of the many reasons as to why Hongjoong is a good conversationalist and is a good communicator. And it's something to keep in mind in our own lives, right? Like, we have a little bit of a banter with someone, there's an inside joke that's established. We want to show our appreciation for that joke, for that connection. If there's an opportunity to bring it up later in the conversation, bring it up in the conversation, right? It's just another connection point.
Strong flavor to it.
Yeah, but I have a good idea.
Okay.
It's really good at beer.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. Because it's salty.
That good, would be good with beer. Salty.
Yeah.
안주로, 맥주
absolutely
안주로.
right.
Oh, what's that?
Pickles. This is maybe more like a pickle you've seen before, but traditional British fish and chip shops, they don't just have...
Notice how Ollie reacted to San there. Son hasn't really been speaking up during this interview, and finally he made an interesting point. I think this would actually be really good with beer. And Ollie and Josh are both noticing that Son might be a little more quiet, and they want to involve him. When he does speak up, they're trying to take advantage of that opportunity and bring him into the conversation even more and elevate him. And I think that's a good thing that we can do as conversationalists, communicators, is we notice someone might be a little bit more shy or reserved. When they do say something in the conversation, let's acknowledge that. Let's show them that we're interested and maybe try to elevate them a little to bring them out of their shell.
Why?
You can't, no.
Yeah, try. Let's go.
You can't try all in one. No.
I actually can't. My teeth are too big. So I need to get one of your microphones.
Okay, one person has egg and one person has onion.
I'll warn you, you don't want the onion.
Winner get eggs.
Okay, wait a second. Yeah.
See, again, back to the point about Ollie kind of putting himself out there and allowing him to be laughed at. He's allowing himself to be laughed at. There with the egg in his mouth, not being able to fit it in fully, right? He takes those quote-unquote chances. He allows for this lightheartedness because he's okay with being made fun of.
Oh, he wants to try it.
He's adventurous.
Yeah. I'm strong.
I'm strong.
You look strong now.
It's a technique.
So I got headache now.
No, really?
And how about egg?
Yes, I'll try it.
I love Son, man. I love Son, and I've said it before. I think he's just a good sport. He's up for the challenge. He's up for the task. There's something endearing about him because he kind of puts himself in the mix. He puts himself out there also to kind of, at times, be made fun of. He kind of takes the brunt sometimes of people's sort of sarcasm and teasing. But the way he reacts to it is very endearing because it's he gets sad, it feels like, but I think part of it is an act in a way. I don't know if he's actually sad, but he's a good sport. He puts himself out there. He's up for the challenge, and I like that about his attitude. He's up for the challenge.
I'm really afraid. Your reaction makes me afraid of me.
Are you so sad?
It's great. It's great.
You're
Son,
strong.
don't be the trick.
It's sour.
It's so sour.
But it's protein too.
Yeah, but Son, the thing about him, he's not faking his excitement here. I think he was being sincere, but I don't know, there's something about Son. That should be a movie. There's something about Son. That'd be a good movie title. Just a documentary on Son. There's something about him. You want to get a reaction out of him. I think that's what it is. I think that's part of it. I think Son is very approachable in the sense that we like getting a reaction from him because he'll give us a reaction. He's not closed off or guarded, but sometimes you just need to pull it out of him. And I think that's why it works in part so well with him and Woo-young. Woo-young loves getting a reaction out of Son because he is maybe a little bit more on the introverted side, but he's not closed off. He gives you a reaction. There's always an expression accompanied with you bothering him or saying something to him. And it's fun because it's genuine.
In COVID, I don't have time to speak with English, but I really want to study English. And I watched your channel when I exercise and learning, to study English too. So that's why I can speak English like this.
Really?
And my English is not fluently native, but I try like this because of you. So
that's got to feel really good for Josh and Ollie, knowing that they had an impact on Hongjoong's English speaking ability and his motivation to speak English. That's really cool. And I love that. You guys know me. I sound like a broken record here, but I say it all the time on this channel. I don't even have to say it if you've watched my channel before, but what did Hongjoong do, right? He expressed something positive. I always say, I'll say it again, if we have something positive to say about someone, we should say it. And look at the impact that it had on Josh and Ollie. I'm sure they appreciated that deeply. I think that's important for people to hear. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that significant. It could just be hey, I appreciate your help earlier. What you did actually made me think differently about this subject, so thank you. Right? Just something as simple as that can go a long way because it's a win-win. You're gonna see other people feel good about that, and when you see them feel good about that, that's gonna make you feel good too. I'll keep repeating that when I see it, and I love that from Hung Joon.
It's such a pleasure to be able to share some food. Hopefully, it wasn't an all terrible experience. Some of it was okay.
Yeah.
Some of it tastes good.
Almost is okay.
Most of it, okay. That's good.
And in the meantime,
Yeah, in the meantime, we'll see you jolly soon.
Yeah, see you jolly soon.
Jolly.
See you. Jolly.
Listen, I thought that was a cool conversation. We got to see Hung Joon's English-speaking abilities there, and so I was really impressed with that, and even Son as well. He seemed to understand a lot and communicate really well, and as always, Josh and Ollie doing a good job of like just showing their excitement and their appreciation for their guests and asking good questions, and I was able to see a little bit more of Josh and Ollie's tag team dynamic at play as well. But Hung Joon's such a good communicator. The more I see him, the more I see him as a fantastic choice as leader for ATEEZ. So guys, right now I'm actually going to watch another video on ATEEZ. It's called Seonghwa Being Done with Wooyoung. So I'm gonna watch that on my Patreon page. If you wanna watch my uncut reaction to the video that I just watched, plus my uncut reaction to the ATEEZ video that I'm gonna watch next, all you need to do is go to my Patreon page. The link is in my description below. Other than that, my name is Max. I will catch you soon. Peace.